Hey you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with our weekly video and tip on creating a space that truly supports your health and your wellness instead of burdening it down. And this week we are going to be planning ahead to winter. So a lot of us don't like to think about it quite yet, especially if you live in the Midwest or northern states. It can get really brutal in the winter. But what we also know is that in the winter, our homes are very closed up. We come in contact with not only more viruses and bacteria, but also more toxins. And this can really burden down our body, our immune system, and our endocrine system. So I'm going to walk you through a full mini detox that will help you get toxins out of your house this winter and keep it a space that is healthy for your body, that supports your body, that allows your body to restore to its natural state and really thrive during this winter. Our homes in the winter season can be a totally different place and vibe in comparison to the rest of the year. So depending on your climate, most of the time the winter means closed up homes and very little air filtering in or out through open windows and doors. And the amount of inside air that our home is trading for the outside air is called an air exchange. Typically in winter, we actually have less than one air exchange per hour, and this depends on how energy efficient your home is. The winter also is that season that has tons of germs, lots of viruses, lots of bacteria, and they make themselves very known, very present in our homes. And this is why we try to keep our homes filled with products that don't introduce us to more toxins. The more toxins your body and family come in contact with, the more our bodies become burdened and bogged down. So this concept of body burden is really similar to the idea of filling up a cup. Once your cup is filled to the top with these toxins, it overflows. When our body is overfilled with toxins, systems start to malfunction and we see symptomatic issues like fatigue, skin problems, immune function decreases, and other life-altering ailments. So decreasing the number of toxins within your home can be done in many different ways. And I think the trick is when you feel comfortable enough with your habits and products, it's time to add another item that you could change. There's no use in changing everything at one time. For one, you're going to get really overwhelmed, and to be honest, this really defeats the purpose of creating a healthier space anyways. And if you're stressed and overwhelmed, you probably won't be reaping the benefits as fully as you would if you were at peace with the changes that you were making. Second, if you make tons of changes all at one time, the chances that those habits won't really stick in the end is pretty high. So this is why I really like the layering approach to changing your habits and products. Work just one thing at a time, and once it's a solid change and a normal part of your life, add on the next thing. Eventually, you'll get to where you want. But doing a major overhaul of your life can defeat the purpose of implementing healthier habits and products. So I encourage you to use this episode as like a mini winter detox plan, kind of in the same way. Just change one thing at a time and then move on. If you're finding yourself feeling overwhelmed, break these steps down into really, really tiny steps and then just move forward. So let's dive in. Winter, as we know, can be especially hard on our bodies and our homes. For one, we likely are getting fewer hours of sunlight, resulting in lower levels of vitamin D in our bodies. Second, we are probably spending more hours inside and less time outside in clean, fresh air. So if you've been reading up on creating a healthier house, you know that the air inside is actually much more polluted than the outdoor air, just due to the products that we use and our sealed up homes and our just general habits. So air that has very few transfers of fresh air from outside has a very low quality to it. Homes in the past used to get 5 air exchanges per hour just from the drafts in the home structure. Our homes now are much more energy efficient, meaning that we typically only have 1 air exchange per hour, if that. What's happening is that our indoor air is staying stale and stagnant with hardly any fresh air coming in to dilute it. So the goal is to have fresh outdoor air filtering through our home at all times. And while this may not be as likely in the winter, I have some ideas that I will give you later on in this video that will help you achieve healthier indoor air. Another reason our houses are so unhealthy in the winter is just due to viruses. So winter is the time for viruses and bacteria and germs. If you have school-age kids like me, you know this is especially true. It seems like there's just a constant stream of kids out in classrooms due to colds and flus, and the inside of our houses is no exception to this wintertime treasure. So removing as many toxins as possible is going to allow our bodies the space to deal with these viruses and these germs on a regular basis. Another way our homes get more polluted in the winter is from our heating. Heating systems and appliances that use gas, so think your fireplace, a furnace, a water heater, maybe a boiler if you have a gas stove, they all have the potential to give off CO2, which is a deadly gas. Carbon monoxide is also dangerous to the neurological system of the body when it is exposed in small, frequent amounts. So when it gets concentrated in our air inside and we're not diluting our indoor air with fresh outside air enough, this is when that happens. Getting fresh air into your house is really the key to diluting this gas while you're using these gas systems and appliances. And it's also vital that you have a carbon monoxide detector on each level of your home to help prevent any unsafe levels that could cause death in your home. And then the last thing is we have increased moisture, and a lot of this comes from condensation in the winter. The winter time leaves us with added condensation on glass windows and glass doors. So it's really important to keep excess moisture out of the house, because what it does is increases the relative indoor humidity levels very quickly. High levels of humidity indoors can actually increase potential mold and mildew growth. It can increase dust mite production and reduce overall immune function. So by keeping moisture cleaned off of windows and moving furniture away from windows and vents, you'll actually prevent this problem from occurring in your own home. So the good news is, I always share with you the good news, there are very simple solutions to all of these problems, and these solutions will not have you turning your life upside down. This super basic detox plan that I'm going to share with you will help improve your indoor air quality and make your environment inside a healthier space. So the first thing we're going to do is open windows whenever possible. My plan for the winter months is to rotate through my house and open windows on a fairly consistent basis. So bedroom windows, I like to open for about 5 minutes a day. Usually I do this when my kids are at school. We close the door, turn on the fans. The rest of the house, I open up about once a week or maybe twice a week for 5 to 10 minutes just to let some fresh air inside. So while I have my windows open, I turn my thermostat off of heat and have just the fan running. If you have like a Nest thermostat, you can just turn the heating temperature lower in order to prevent it from heating your house while the windows are open for a few minutes. I really don't make a huge deal about this. I just open the windows when I remember and then close them after a few minutes. You can even, like I said, close the bedroom doors to prevent cold air from infiltrating the rest of the house if you want to just do it on an isolated room basis. The second thing we're going to do is use a plant-based cleaner. So this one is huge. Cleaners contain some of the worst chemicals and harmful components that get oversprayed onto your surfaces that you don't actually intend for that spray to be on. And what happens is they end up being absorbed into our skin or possibly even ingested, especially if it gets onto like our dust that's around the house. So chemicals from cleaners are also commonly found in house dust, where they stay in our homes for very long periods of time. So this doesn't even really mention the fact that if you're the one using the cleaner, you are likely breathing the airborne particles in, giving them a direct trip to your bloodstream. So we started using Aspen Clean because I hunted high and low for an EWG verified product that was within our budget and that I felt like worked. And I hunted for years. I feel like my whole life actually has changed after using this cleaner. I used to feel really guilty every time I cleaned, especially the bathroom, because that was a place I couldn't let go of some of my other cleaners. But I felt guilty that my kids were in there after I cleaned. At the time, I really didn't know of a good option that would also clean. But once we tried Aspen Clean, I felt like everything was simplified. I felt comfortable and safe using it. So Aspen Clean concentrated cleaner that I have shown here can actually replace almost every cleaner in your house. Literally. It is super concentrated, so meaning you just need a very small amount in a spray bottle. I broke down the cost of what they recommend for each glass spray bottle that I make, which is just a standard size. It's about 36 cents to make one spray bottle of the cleaner. So when you buy the concentrated cleaner, just remember it will last for a very long time. Another option for switching out your cleaner is to go to a few different databases, the Think Dirty app. You can go to EWG and do your own research if you want to switch out your cleaners and if you want to buy them like at a local store or you're just looking for something that's different than this. The third thing we're going to do is remove dust. So this one really doesn't sound like that much fun. It's not, but it will drastically improve your space for the better. So dust has been found to contain not only chemicals from the products that we use in our home, but also formaldehyde from upholstery fabrics, flame retardants from furniture foam, and even pesticides from outdoor use. So in my opinion, I really think that that is enough to make me want to dust. With so many nooks and crannies for dust to settle in, the best plan of action is just to be diligent and remove it the right way. So a few things you can do wet dusting. This will prevent dust from getting back up into the air. You could use either a damp cloth or some sort of dusting spray. You also want to vacuum corners and edges with a HEPA filter vacuum. You want to wet mop your floors with a natural cleaning solution. And actually, Aspen Clean makes a floor cleaner that we love at our house. And then you also want to change your furnace filters frequently. So every like 4 months or so is a great option. And then finally, we're going to try to prevent as much condensation as possible. I mentioned removing condensation from windows earlier as a great way to prevent an increased level of humidity within your home. But preventing the condensation from forming in the first place is the first and most vital step in the process. So you will save yourself a lot of time, a lot of headaches by creating habits that will help minimize condensation throughout the winter. So a few things you can do. First, use a vented fan while you are cooking, while you are showering. If you have one in your laundry room, run those vented fans while you are in the space, creating humidity, and for about 20 minutes afterwards. It's also plausible to open a window while cooking or while you're bathing or doing laundry. This is also going to help get some of that humidity outside. You want to move furniture away from windows and vents to increase the airflow around your window space. You also want to open vents in rooms that have excess condensation. We want as much air flowing in and out of that room as possible. And then finally, make sure you open your shades every day. This is going to help increase airflow and prevent any moisture from getting trapped between your shade and your window. So by taking care of these few items and changing your habits and your products, your home's environment will be drastically improved. But what's more is that your family and those in your home will be improving their bodies as well. So we're going to look at some of the improvements to your body and your space. So first, obviously, we are going to have improved indoor air quality. This is the first and most apparent change. We know that our indoor air is often much more polluted than outdoor air just due to the fact that there's very little fresh air diluting our homes. So by bringing in fresh, clean air from outside, we are first diluting the indoor air and second, allowing the toxic indoor air to be pushed out of the house. A complete air exchange is the healthiest thing for you and for your home. You can actually purchase an indoor air quality monitor, which would help you keep tabs on your indoor air. And you can take a look at some information I have on my website by searching indoor air quality monitor and get a whole post on how to do this in your own house. So the second thing is you're reducing your body burden, you're lessening it. I've mentioned it many times before, but body burden occurs when our bodies come into contact on a consistent basis with toxins and chemicals that are causing our bodies stress. Body burden can be avoided at home by reducing our toxic load and creating a low toxin environment for you to enjoy and live in. So by reducing toxins at home, body burden drops off and your body is actually able to function as it was created. It can naturally detox any chemicals and toxins that you're coming in contact with because it's not so burdened down. You're going to have an immune system that is supporting the rest of your body instead of trying to combat all these unnecessary chemicals and toxins. Another thing you're going to see is reduced moisture levels. So your indoor humidity levels will be ideal. Moisture in our homes really creates an environment where mold and mildew thrive, where dust mites reproduce. It's also an environment where VOCs off gas at a much higher rate. So our bodies also function better in a climate that is moderately drier. They have done studies that have shown a drier climate indoors, we just generally feel better. So without mold and mildew around, without high levels of VOCs around, our bodies can focus on protecting us from the viruses and germs that we might be coming in contact with this winter season. And when our bodies come in contact with allergens such as mold or dust mites, unfortunately what happens is all our efforts are spent protecting our body from these elements and giving germs and viruses a more clear path to make us more susceptible. So once these elements are out of the way, we generally sleep better, we feel better, and we create a positive domino effect of health throughout the rest of the winter. And then finally, what you're doing is you're actually limiting your contact with toxins. So by limiting our exposure with toxins, so many positive things occur. Oftentimes, skin conditions begin to dissipate and disappear as our immune system is no longer overworked, it's no longer stressed out. Because of the reduced amount of toxin stress on our bodies, our sleep generally improves as well, which then means our overall health is improved. Another benefit is just fewer viruses take hold within our bodies due to the fact that we're not spending our energy trying to decipher if a toxin is harming our body or not. Our body can really focus on protecting us and keeping us healthy all winter long. So I thought I would give you a couple options. Maybe you're one of those people who likes to really go the extra mile. So if you're already practicing the habits that we talked about earlier and you want to do even more, these next items are great as like a next step task or a bonus task to help you create an even healthier environment this winter. So first things first, we spend 7 to 8 hours in our beds every day. And because we are laying directly on this surface and our skin is in contact with it, we are absorbing whatever toxins are in our mattress and in our sheets. So this would be flame retardants, formaldehyde, pesticides, and other toxic chemicals. We're also breathing in close proximity to our beds, which is just one more way that toxins can enter our body. So switching everything out to organic and natural is going to be a great bonus for this winter. Another thing you can do is ditch the plastic in your kitchen. Plastics in the kitchen, where they come in contact with our food, is actually one of the worst places for plastic. Plastic that is warmed or heated, whether in the microwave or simply by the food that it's touching, leaches into our food and our body the plastic toxins that are present. So plastics contain plasticizers, BPAs, all kinds of toxins that affect our bodies, including our endocrine system and other systems. So by removing plastic from our kitchen, you could think like storage bags, water bottles, dishes, storage containers, all of that. We can actually remove a huge source of toxins right in our home. And then finally, you can overhaul your cleaning closet. So we talked about this a little bit before, but cleaning products that contain ammonia, bleach, synthetic fragrances, and other toxins that affect the body negatively can be removed from your home where you're not even being exposed to them. You want to just take the time to ditch your current toxic cleaners, toxic soaps, toxic detergents, and replace them with healthier plant-based options that will truly help you create a home environment free from many negative products. You can use the Think Dirty app, EWG, Made Safe, Clearia. There's a whole plethora of databases out there that can help you with this. Once you have identified potential toxic cleaners, you want to replace them with something that is healthy. Again, we use Aspen Clean just because it is EWG verified. We love the products in and of itself. It's a great way to start. So instead of bogging your body down this winter with added toxins, viruses, and stress, you can use all of these simple tips to create a healthy environment to live in on a daily basis. As always, thank you so much for being here. I am so glad that you're here. I hope you can find at least one thing from this week's detox that you could do in your own home to prevent body burden this winter. You can subscribe to my channel because I am here every single week with a new tip and idea on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness.